Hello and welcome back to the channel. This is a spur of the moment video that I've been toying with the idea of for quite some time, and I just finally decided when I'd actually post this. So, welcome back to the channel. My name is Michael. As you can tell by the description, or I should say the title of this video, I am going to be reviewing the very first ever Doctor Who story, An Unearthly Child. I haven't seen it in years, and I thought, why not, for the show's 59th anniversary, have a look back and see, does the first Doctor Who story still hold up? So yeah, let's get started. So the first episode in this story introduces us to the two main companions of this era, Ian Chesterton and Barbara Wright, as they discuss how odd one of their students is, Susan Foreman. And after discussing it, they decide to go visit her at home. But the address that they get is 72 Cotter's Lane, which is actually an old junkyard, to which they decide to head in and investigate after watching Susan go into the junkyard. And this is also where they come across the TARDIS, as well as a mysterious old man. And through talking with this mysterious old man, the teachers end up hearing Susan inside the TARDIS and essentially burst their way into it. But what they enter is just no ordinary police box. No. This is a special police box that is bigger on the inside, also known as the TARDIS. And this is also where they learn that both the Susan and the Doctor are not from 1960. And it's also when the Doctor decides to immediately take off with all four on the TARDIS, after a lot of arguments of trying to let the two teachers go. Episode 1 is rather interesting by itself, as the episode is a mystery of sort to both the teachers and the viewers. The mystery is Susan, a 15-year-old girl who seems to know more than she lets on, as she lets slip a lot of said knowledge. I also find it interesting that they have a tiny setup for a different episode about the French Revolution with a book Barbara lends Susan. As soon as she starts to read it, she notices that something isn't right. The Doctor in this episode is amazing with how he deals with Ian and Barbara as they try to find Susan, the Doctor running circles around them, goading them into reacting. All was going well till Susan piped up and, in a sense, led Ian and Barbara into the TARDIS. It's only after this that we see just how grumpy the Doctor can be, as at this point in his timeline he hasn't grown softer compared to how he is in, let's say, the War Machines or the 10th Planet. Everyone did an amazing job in this episode for their performances. So what I just talked about was actually the episode that was reshot because Sidney Newman didn't like the original, and then told him to do the reshoot that I just talked about, where there was actually some minor changes, but other than that, it's essentially beat for beat like the original pilot that they had shot for. The main thing is, in the original pilot, Susan mentioned that she was born in the 49th century, but in the reshot one, that's actually left out, that she's born in another time. I love how the DVD of An Unearthly Child that you get with the New Beginnings box set includes the original pilot as well as the reshot pilot. And I love how in the reshot pilot that actually sets up a story yet to come out, which is about the French Revolution. And even though there wasn't really that many changes with the reshot episode, I still prefer it over the original pilot. So episode 2 to the story introduces us to these cavemen tribe, where there are two who are trying to become the tribe leader, and the only way this can happen is if they can make a fire. One of these men, Za, is in the cave with his tribe trying to make a fire, but can't, as he doesn't know how, since his father, who was the tribe's old leader, never got around to showing him how. As he keeps trying, he just gets frustrated. The other cave person, Kal, who is trying to become a tribe leader, is out and about when he spots the TARDIS landing and the Doctor and co leaving it, as well as the Doctor making a fire, so he kidnaps the Doctor and brings him to the tribe as someone who can make fire for them. And then, just as things are getting heated, Ian, Barbara and Susan manage to track down the Doctor somehow and barge in, just to have all four captured and to be killed in the morning. So episode 2 is kind of more setup, as there's nothing really that actually happens in this episode, other than the Doctor getting kidnapped by a cave person. And somehow Susan, Ian, and Barbara managed to track them down to the correct cave. Felt as though there was a lot missing from that. That would have made episode 2 that bit better. But overall, episode 2 was okay. Not great, not bad. Just okay. Which, after coming off of an amazing episode 1, is kind of a bit of a letdown. And it doesn't give me high hopes for episodes 3 and 4. So, episode 3 sees the old woman of the tribe free the doctor and co. so they can't make fire. As she does this, one of the other women in the tribe notices and informs Za, and they set off after the doctor. As morning draws, Carl wakes up and kills the old woman and blames it on Za and her, and they set off after them. Along the way, Za fights a beast and is badly injured, but Ian and Barbara help him, and they make it back to the TARDIS, but unfortunately, they are not alone. This is where I think this could have actually been a 2-parter and not a 4-parter. As most of this episode is literally just them running through the forest, which I think could have been cut down to at least 2 or 3 minutes, and then have the end where they just get to the TARDIS, but turns out that they're not alone, that Za is there waiting for them, and have the scene end with Za being put onto the homemade stretcher. The only notable thing that also happened in episode 3 is the fact that the doctor probably would have killed Za had Ian not caught on to him. And what New Who fans should know about the early stages in the classic Doctor Who is the Doctor isn't like the Doctor that we know today. And that's simply because this is the early days of his travels. And it's as these travels continue on with Ian, Barbara, and Susan that the Doctor starts to soften up and become like the Doctor that we know today, which is why he tried to kill Za. Episode 4 was an okay ending to the Unearthly Child story, where the Doctor and gang are brought back to the cave, they kick Carl out of the tribe and make fire for Za, and Za kills Carl in a fight to the death, and Susan comes up with an idea to get them to escape, and the ending of the episode is them landing on Skaro, setting up for the next story. Honestly, it's an okay ending, nothing great, nothing bad, not even all that memorable, as I have forgotten most of this story. Now, I've only ever really seen on all 4 episodes of An Earthly Child once, and I believe that was on the Horror Channel when they started showing classic Doctor Who in the UK and Ireland. And back then, I thought as I do now. It's an okay story, not great, not bad either. The first episode in this story is by far the better one, and episodes 2 to 4 are just alright, as well as could have been condensed into a 2-parter like I said. But the main question is, does An Unearthly Child hold up 59 years later? Unfortunately, the answer is no. As I said, the only good episode in this story is episode 1, and you don't really need to see episodes 2 to 4, as there really isn't anything there other than the Doctor almost killing Za, and then seeing them land on Skaro in episode 4. It's definitely not something for most New Who fans, especially those who don't like things in black and white, which is what you get with the first and second Doctor's run. So if you are a New Who fan and want to give classic Doctor Who a go and want to watch the first episode, honestly, just watch episode 1 of An Unearthly Child to get a feel for the Doctor and the companions, and then jump right into the second story, the Daleks, and you'll have a much better time with that. And well, there you guys have it. That has been my review of Doctor Who and An Earthly Child on the show's 59th anniversary. Let me know what you think of this episode if you've seen it in the comments section below. Let me know what you thought of this review. And as far as I'm aware, this should be the last of the secret projects because I'm just wrapping filming this on the 1st of August. So unless I somehow manage to come up with other secret projects, this should be the last one for the year, I think. So yeah, thank you all for watching. I really do hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time for Friday's video, which I don't know what that could be. Like I said, this is months in advance.